Good morning, guys and gals. It is a beautiful day. I'm here in Franklin, Tennessee to do the move and breathe. This is day 7 of the moving and breathing. I'm just doing a little 10, thereabouts 10 minutes or so, little talk as I just get out and get going. This is along with my morning routine of transformation. You gotta set up these habits on a daily basis. First, you create your habits, and then your habits create you. So your habits need to be based in real wisdom and understanding about how you are made and how you function and how you can change, how transformation occurs. You got to be doing those little things consistently on a daily basis. You got to be feeding yourself with true thoughts, because see, these new true thoughts have to replace the old ones that are faulty. They weren't built correctly. When you built those thoughts and the framework of your thinking, you didn't know. You were not aware of what was happening. Well, as we grow, you become aware. If you've been born again by the Spirit of Christ, then God has become your Father. You're a new creation. You're something that never was before. You're a brand new being. And so you got to redo. The whole shot has to be redone. The whole thing. Everything that you think you knew, you have to redo it all. That is the renewing of your mind. And that is the beauty of the move and breathe. Let me show you this tree back here. It's a beautiful, can you see that right there? Right there. I don't know if that translates onto the screen, but that's a beautiful oak. Let me show you. See, that is a beautiful oak tree. That oak tree started out like an acorn, got planted in this good ground. It's good soil. It's right on the outskirts of the forest, so it's going to get real full sun. Doesn't have to compete. Now its backside is sort of in the shadow of the forest, but its front side is getting full sun on a daily basis. This year, especially here in Tennessee, we've gotten an enormous amount of rainfall, so this thing has gotten all the sun that it's needed. As you can see, the sun on my face today. Beautiful. Lots of rain, that good rain, consistent rain. And so that tree is going to grow up into its full potential, because that's what trees do. They get as big as they possibly can. They put out as many leaves as they possibly can. They're going to produce as many acorns as they possibly can, because that's what's in their DNA to do. Now think about that in human terms. Do you know your potential? Especially if you've been born again. The potential of a human, even without God's on purpose help, is astounding. I mean, just look around you. Look at the stories. Look at the people. Look at what they've done. It should boggle your mind. There aren't any limits, really. The limits literally come down to what we think we can do. See, that's faith. That's because we've been made in His image. Even if you're not walking with God, that is still in play, because you're an image bearer, whether you know where you came from or not. So see, this ought to open up a bunch of hope for where this can go. Now, I wanted to show you that tree, because that tree, if you could see under the surface, has got an expansive root system that's out there getting the nutrients that it needs out of the soil, which allows it to grow up to that full potential, get into that full blossom and bloom and stature and strength. And I wanted to show you that because we're very similar to that in creation. You see these things through creation, these things that have likeness. See, in Isaiah 61, God calls us oaks of righteousness. See, so what is He doing? He's referring back to a tree, a beautiful tree with a root system that's gone down deep into the soil, and it's now getting all of the nutrients, all of the things that it needs to become strong. And what God's saying is, plant your mind in the soil of my world, what I think about you. Plant my thoughts into your mind and let them grow. If you do that, you will grow up into an oak of righteousness. See, that should give you a nice picture of being this massively strong, thing rooted in truth that is righteousness. It's true, it's right, it is as it should be. And it looks like the one who it came from. See, we are heirs to the throne. We are sons and daughters of God. That means we've got to look like him. We've got to resemble him. In fact, 1 John says that when he comes, we don't know what he's going to look like, but when he does come, we will look like him. That's what John was saying. I'm going to look like him. When I see him, when he comes, and when I see him, I will look like him. That's a pretty boastful statement, but John was clear in understanding that he'd been born again, and that's where he was getting his thoughts from about himself. And so he was confident that this isn't about me, this is about what I'm planted in. This is about the person who's giving me these thoughts and these identity-based thoughts. Okay, so here's the issue about the thoughts that you're thinking. Our brain, if you could get a scan of your brain, you would see road maps. Now these road maps are, I'm getting into science, I can't really articulate very well, but just in layman's term, you're talking about road maps of thought and electricity and neurotransmitters, fire, this electrical signals run through these things. And so when things happen to you, there's a bunch of electrical, chemical type of exchanges that fire off in your brain that cause you to do. See, it kicks in emotion, because emotion, again, is that Latin word emovere, is to move. And see, your emotions are going to make you move. They're going to make you do. See, so you got a framework in your brain that's literally there. It's grown like a huge oak tree. If you're 35, 40 years old, you've got 35, 40 years of root growth. Now here's the problem with that. A lot of your roads were not built up to code. Those roads were built you on your own. You interpreting your own situational life, whatever happened to you, you interpret all things. You make judgments about everything that happened to you and who you are and about this world and all of it. And as you do that, and that's what's called your own understanding in the Bible. The Bible says, Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 says, don't lean on your own understanding. But all of us have our own understanding, because things happen to us and we got to try to figure out what it was. What is this? What's happened? And what can I do about it? What's going to be my response? What does this mean about me? See, so these things start immediately, right? Even in the womb, this understanding of yours about life begins. And what that means is that that's when the seed of your identity, of your being, starts sending out roots in your brain. It's roadmaps of thought that tell you who you are, what about this world, what is truth. And see, so we all have our own truth, our own understanding. Now again, the problem with that is that it's wrong. Most of it's wrong. Now when you get born again and God translates you from the kingdom of darkness into the kingdom of the Son of his love, you've become a brand new being. Here's the problem. You've got a whole network, a whole framework, a whole roadmap of thinking already in here. And it's the you that you know. And see, so you now have to renew that according to what God says, because you got a whole new being and you're a whole new person. You got a whole new situation in which you are living in. And see, therefore, there's the difficulty. See, because those roadmaps, when something happens to you, that is the only place that these things travel. What you have come to believe about you, that's where that thing travels. It doesn't travel anywhere else. If something happens to you and God says, no, you're this, but you believe you're something else, you're going to go with the something else every time. Why? Because you got a roadmap already built to that. That's what your roadmap is. So see, you start understanding the difficulty of transformation. And that is, again, why we're here doing this. We have to have a completely new framework built in our physiology, in our brain. This is a literal physical component here, okay? It's a physical component. And so you have to really lean into the change of it. So see, what has to happen is you need to bulldoze some old roads, and you got to build some brand new ones, because they're going to take you different places. The road maps that you have in your mind already built are getting you where they've gotten you. And that's as far as they can take you. They can't take you anywhere else. In other words, you've capped off. You're limited in every capacity at this point, because you've already got your road map built. And this is the you that you are. And oh well, I guess I'll just be like this the rest of my life. That's not what God says. So now you got to use some understanding and some wisdom and how to rebuild, how to redo this thing. And that's what I'm talking about. If you'll get up in the morning, open up your heart to Him, let Him put some new seeds in here. See, it's a new blueprint. We're going new places. We got to build new roads. But see, that's the Spirit introducing these things to your soul. Your soul's going, no, I think we already know where we're at. We've been doing this a long time. I mean, we know. And your will has to speak up and say, no, this is who we are. That we're listening to a new person tell us about who we are. Now we got to do some reconstruction around here. Okay, so then you got to hear what the new is from the Lord. And now you get outside after you've heard that and you've seen some things with your spirit. Your spirit has introduced some new things to your soul. And now you get out, and then you get into this receiver mode. You've got to start getting your body ready to receive the new things. You got to build this road. So you get out, and you begin to get grateful. You get out and you move and breathe. Man, you're filling up your lungs with air. You're getting yourself moving. You're hopeful. You're thinking about all the blessings you've got in life, all the good things, all the things at your fingertips that you've got, all the potential, all the resources at your fingertips today's got. We have resources out the wazoo today. I mean, this is a resource. If you chose to use it, you could get on YouTube, click on a video. Somebody could tell you things they've learned the hard way. They can fill you up with hope. You got a whole new horizon. Now you just got to walk. So you get moving. You just get moving. You get breathing. You get saying, yeah, this is the new me. I'm going to war today because I'm bringing forth a new me. I'm a construction worker. I'm building a brand new thing. It's going to be way better than the one that I had, because there's no limits to it. It's a limitless thing. And it matches the heart that I've been given. And it brings out the treasures that's going to make God look good in this earth. I mean, you're thinking these thoughts. You're being grateful. You're getting into receiver mode. See, that's worship. You begin to worship the Lord in that way. So now I'm worshiping. I'm in a worshipful state. I'm in a receiver mode. I'm receiving everything the Father wants to give me through the work of His Son. It's not about me deserving it. I don't deserve it. You got to come get clear about that. It's about what Jesus deserves because of what He's done. And He deserves my life to look good because it's His inheritance. I get to share in the inheritance, but it's His inheritance. See, so you get into that mode. See, that's emotion. That's emotion. That's emotion. And when you get emotion and thoughts together, they'll begin to bind together. And what the neurotransmitters that fire together wire together. See, that's how it's happened. That's how you got the old man. The emotions and your interpretation, your thought about all events. They fired and they wired together. They fired and they wired together. They fired and they wired together. That's what builds the root system. That's why it's so expansive and it's so big, because you've been doing this for 47 years. Does that make sense? So you got to do the same thing the other way. You got to get up, get moving and breathing, get a new framework, get a new interpretation of events. Redo the whole thing. Renew your mind. And you fire and wire. You fire and wire. So you have a good feeling and a good thought, and you fire it. And you fire it, and you fire it, and you fire it, and you fire it. And see, now you're building a whole new framework. But that has to be done. You can't skip that step. So in the move and breathe, you get out. You got you some new thoughts. They're foreign thoughts to your soul, because your soul's like, we got this figured out, but they're new thoughts, and you're saying, no, we're installing a new program here. This is the new program. Let's install it. Now you get out and you move and breathe. You start getting into a worshipful state. You're grateful about all things. Then you're envisioning the new you. And as you're envisioning the new you, that new you is so awesome, it makes you feel even better, and you're just wiring and firing. See, that's what you're doing. So you set yourself up to win in the day, and then through the day, you do the very best to stay in God's presence and to say what He says about you. And then you become more and more consciously aware of the lies that you've been living in, because they're going to be very present. They're going to be very available. When things happen to you that are similar to things that in the past, that old roadway is going to fire up. It's going to light up, and you're going to be tempted to go with that instead of the new program. See, there's the fight. That's the battle. And I can't see how long this has been going on, but I'm sure it's past 10 minutes again, because I get rolling and I lose track of time. But that's enough for today. Guys, it's critical to move and breathe, because you're renewing your mind. This is a you that you don't know. This is a you that you are not familiar with. And once you start this process in life, it never stops. As long as you're on this planet, you're doing this. Every day you get up and do this, because I don't care where you are right now in this renewal of the mind, you've got an infinite amount of growth to go. Infinite amount, because we're talking about being like God. Now don't misinterpret that. I didn't say I was God. I said I'm in God. That's in Christ. That's a lot of growth. And that's an incredible DNA. And that is a unlimited capacity that, see, we're growing into, so that we'll just get up as big as we can go. The same as that oak did. Oak tree's getting as big as it can. Every day it's going to get as big as it possibly can. Whatever's in that genetic code. That's the same for me and you, except we've been delivered into the kingdom of the Son of His love. We've been placed into Christ. The thoughts and the potential and the capacity is limitless. And you just get into this way of life. I'm telling you, you get into this habit, this habit right here will make you into a new person. It's all about the quality of thoughts you're thinking. So guys, be blessed. I'm going to get off here and move and breathe a little bit. Do a little road construction in my own mind, because I got a long way to go. And it's all good. So bless you. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.